The movie begins in Syria, where a group of terrorists plans to execute American hostages on a beach. Their intent is to film the killings as a brutal message of retaliation against the United States. A U.S. military team, led by a soldier named Miller, orders a sniper unit to take position, preparing to intervene and eliminate the threat. The team lies in wait for Miller's command before acting. Among the terrorists is a young boy, instructed to carry out one of the executions. When Miller orders Beckett to take the shot, Beckett hesitates, caught off guard by the child's involvement. Miller quickly redirects the command to Barnes, who fires but misses his mark. The failed shot alerts the terrorists, who immediately execute one of the hostages. In response, the sniper unit and a combat helicopter open fire, killing all the terrorists who attempt to flee toward the coast. Although the objective is completed, the cost is one hostage's life. Back at base, Miller contacts Beckett and questions his decision to delay. Beckett assures him that he will do better next time. Later, in Istanbul, Turkey, Cervantes and Rojas are celebrating their mission at a pier along with Beckett and Angst. During the celebration, Angst brings up the incident in Syria and confronts Beckett about his hesitation, making him visibly uncomfortable. Unable to take the judgment, Beckett steps away to have his beer alone. Cervantes approaches to offer support, telling Beckett to relax and not be too hard on himself. Beckett thanks him, expressing his need for solitude. As Beckett sits alone, a mysterious woman glances at him before walking away. After Cervantes leaves, Beckett decides to follow her down to the end of the pier. He strikes up a flirtatious conversation, casually discussing their presence in Istanbul. Meanwhile, far away on a rooftop, a suspicious man prepares a sniper rifle and locks his aim on Beckett. Before the sniper can take the shot, Beckett's commanding officer, Major Bidwell, eliminates the threat. Bidwell then contacts Beckett, instructing him to meet immediately. As Beckett begins speaking with Bidwell, the woman vanishes unnoticed. Bidwell informs Beckett that someone had planned to assassinate him and warns him to be more cautious in the future. Their conversation shifts back to the Syrian operation. Beckett confesses to Bidwell that he hesitated because one of the terrorists was just a kid. Bidwell responds by saying that it's okay to have a conscience, but a soldier must not allow it to cloud their judgment. Soon after, the team gathers with the colonel to receive their next mission. They are to protect a gas pipeline in Georgia from an impending terrorist attack. At the mission briefing, Beckett sees the woman from the pier again. She introduces herself as Slater and reveals that she's been assigned as the field commander for this operation. The mission's objective is to eliminate enemy snipers, with Slater providing air surveillance using drone support. The team deploys to a pumping station in Georgia. Slater lays out the plan. For 2 hours, they must guard oil magnate Killian Grun during his visit to the site. Intelligence indicates that the terrorist leader Gazakov will attempt to assassinate him. As the operation begins, everyone takes their designated positions outside the station. Angst notices a distant glint, possibly from a scope, and warns the team, but the warning comes too late. An anti-tank sniper destroys one of Killian's escort vehicles. Chaos erupts as the remaining bodyguards engage the terrorists. During the shootout, a sniper calls out the names of Rojas and Angst, targeting them directly. Rojas is struck and killed, but the team doesn't immediately notice. Meanwhile, Slater uses her drones to offer aerial recon and guidance to the field units. Beckett begins to suspect that someone is feeding intel to the enemy, allowing the sniper to identify their positions so precisely. During the escalating conflict, another soldier named Maines is taken out by the enemy sniper. The terrorists push forward, overwhelming Killian's security detail. The colonel detects hostile movement on radar and authorizes a missile strike at the location where the terrorists are gathered. Beckett and Angst attempt to treat Rojas' injuries, but the bleeding proves fatal, and she dies. Mourning her loss, Miller, Slater, and other team members begin scouting the area from which the terrorists launched their anti-tank strike. During their search, Beckett uncovers skeletal remains belonging to Gazakov's brother-in-law. He begins suspecting foul play and accuses Colonel Sergei of possibly aiding the terrorists by leaking their intel. His reasoning: while American soldiers suffered losses, Sergei's Georgian troops came out unscathed. As a precaution, Sergei sends Beckett to a Highland station, escorted by Sajid and another team member, to join a unit assigned to pipeline defense. Upon their arrival, they are met by a group of Russian men who become hostile. When they attack, Beckett fends them off. Impressed by his skill, their leader, Andrei, calls off the assault. Andrei then gathers his men and explains Beckett's presence. Beckett is scolded for his insubordination and then asserts his suspicion that someone in Georgia is secretly relaying classified information to the terrorists. He points out that while his comrades were killed, no Georgian soldier has died. Andrei listens but advises Beckett to gather concrete proof before making further accusations. He also urges Beckett to identify the enemy sniper who killed his friends and uncover how they gained their coordinates. Later, while monitoring a listening post, Andrei and his team discover a group of armed Chechens attempting to loot the site. Andrei plans to eliminate them, but Beckett argues that they should be subdued instead of killed. Andrei challenges Beckett to demonstrate how. Beckett approaches the looters while the others provide cover. Attempting negotiation, Beckett tries to calm the situation. However, the looters begin making suspicious movements. Andrei reacts swiftly, shooting one of them and eliminating all except one, who is captured for interrogation. That night, Beckett and Andrei discuss their pasts. Andrei shares his own tragic story. He once hesitated to kill a child soldier, which resulted in his comrades being blown up by a hidden bomb. He tells Beckett that a good sniper must be willing to sacrifice morality to carry out the mission without delay. The next day, Sajid spots a group of terrorists in the mountains. He assumes they are Chechens coming to rescue the captured man. The team responds quickly, planting explosives and preparing for battle. The Chechens launch a full-scale assault. Andrei and his team engage in fierce combat, killing most of the attackers and detonating the planted charges. Beckett and Sajid provide sniper support from a ridge, but they're spotted. The enemy fires an RPG at them, which they narrowly avoid. Beckett falls to safety and rushes back toward the station. Meanwhile, Sajid betrays the team and attempts to kill Beckett to switch allegiance. The terrorists drag Andrei out and prepare to execute him. Beckett arrives just in time, taking down all hostiles and Sajid, rescuing Andrei. Grateful for Beckett's resolve, Andrei commends him for finally acting without hesitation. Beckett's probation is officially lifted. Upon his return to base, Beckett is tasked with making contact with Mothershed in Georgia. He takes possession of Gazakov's brother-in-law's remains to arrange a meeting with Gazakov himself, hoping to discover who's been leaking intel. The next day, Beckett and Mothershed meet with Gazakov's men under drone surveillance. The drone detects movement but can't confirm the identities. As they approach, Beckett questions the terrorists on how they learned the sniper team's positions. One of them attributes it to divine insight, which Beckett dismisses. Unexpectedly, Gazakov arrives and demands the truth. When headquarters realizes the team is in danger, a missile strike is ordered. Beckett notices one terrorist holding a thick book embedded with a satellite uplink, suggesting it was used to locate Allied positions. The strike hits, but Beckett and Mothershed escape just in time. Back at the base, Slater confronts them about the unauthorized meeting with Gazakov. Beckett explains what he saw, a book being used as a tracking tool. The colonel calls through Slater's phone and assigns Beckett a new mission: return to the team and protect Killian. The next morning, Beckett rejoins the unit at the Georgian station. Cervantes welcomes him and reveals the others have gone to the mountains after pinpointing Gazakov's location. Sensing danger, Beckett rushes to assist. Miller, Barnes, and Onks provide sniper coverage as ground forces move forward. Knowing their location has likely been exposed, drones are deployed over Kutaisi. The terrorists bait them by shooting a foot soldier. The enemy sniper fails to hit Onks, who radios in the enemy's position near a building dubbed the White House. She is shot in the shoulder. Barnes treats her injuries. Beckett and Cervantes arrive and tell Miller to remove their GPS-enabled vests to avoid further tracking. Meanwhile, the foot soldiers storm the White House, but the terrorists have already vacated. Slater and Sergei inspect the area. Beckett raises the drone tracking concern again. Miller supports his theory, finally swaying both Slater and Sergei. Back at the base, the colonel debriefs the team. Miller informs him that Gazakov's hideout was a trap, confirming Beckett's suspicions. The colonel issues new orders: eliminate Gazakov and his remaining forces. Satellite footage shows that Gazakov is planning another attack the next day. Reinforcements are expected to arrive by nightfall. Miller expresses concern about drones being spotted, but Slater dismisses it. The colonel commands the team to turn off GPS and prepare. As they advance toward the target, Beckett warns Miller that the attack could be imminent, not tomorrow as expected. Miller initially counters, citing satellite data, but Beckett insists that the information has been compromised. Eventually, Miller agrees, and they return to the base. Meanwhile, Gazakov begins his final assault. The undermanned station is left vulnerable. The colonel and Slater attempt to call in reinforcements, but backup is delayed. Miller and his team arrive in time to support the few remaining defenders. The terrorist snipers begin tracking the unit. Beckett locates and shoots the terrorist carrying the satellite book. Finally, he comes face to face with Gazakov, kills him, and forces the remaining terrorists to retreat. The movie ends with Beckett reuniting with Cervantes, Ongst, and Barnes. The colonel confirms that Beckett will remain their field operator. At the pier, Slater waits. Though she previously doubted him, she accepts his peace offering of a drink, signaling a new mutual respect between them. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.